I'll start us off by talking about the clash over nonprofit promises and Silicon Valley profits, as we phrased it. So, just a day ago, we learned that Elon Musk is suing OpenAI, alleging it strayed from its nonprofit mission. Remember, OpenAI was originally incorporated as a nonprofit. This comes reporting from Axios and others. But part of the dispute lies in Musk's claim that OpenAI, which he helped found, remember, reneged on its nonprofit commitment to operate as an open source entity under its original 501c3 status. And George, you and I have our disagreements with Musk, but he brings up a good point in the next part, which is Musk essentially asserts that OpenAI used that nonprofit model to generate pre tax, fully deductible contributions as a form of seed funding, only then to go private and renege on that 501c3 status. So the lawsuit alleges this is an egregious shift from its original mission and could potentially highlight how 501c3s as a tax exempt status for organizations could serve as a vehicle to abuse. In the past, George, you and I have talked about how IKEA is owned by a nonprofit. Wink, wink. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't. It's a little sketch. And George, this is, I think, opening up a can of worms that might deserve to be opened up, considering that, quite frankly, the regulation of nonprofits and that nonprofit status is continually kind of overlooked by the IRS. And Musk might be making an important point here about leveling the playing field and making sure that everyone plays by the same rules.
Yeah, we even talked about this where it's a giant loophole in 501c3s and venture funding. Quite literally, like if I'm going to start a venture funded, high capital intensive project, why not make it a nonprofit? And then suddenly, all of the wait a minute, not investments, donations are going to this greater good until we achieve what we were trying to do. And then suddenly we've got a for profit entity that happens to issue shares to the people that made donations to get that access and fund that project. And it's something that deserves greater scrutiny because it is a loophole you could drive a truck full of money through, and it has already had a truck full of money driven through. And so Elon Musk pointing this out, I will note, maybe coincidentally because he's got a competing Grok product and he wouldn't mind slowing down OpenAI. Like, just let's just be clear, this guy, you can question the altruism associated with the action, of course, but it doesn't make the point less salient. And in particular, in the lawsuit, he is pointing at that GPT-4 more black box, less transparent creation of what they did there, which was the industry leading GPT up until Anthropic Claude 3's Opus announced just a couple days ago has beat it in the LLM benchmarking tools. So I'm hopeful that this leads to additional scrutiny because it is a playbook that should be used and abused if it is not resolved, and it is a misuse of the 501c3 tax exempt nature of nonprofits in America.
Yeah, George, I think that's exactly right. And if not for anything, this shines a light on that particular aspect of how organizations start and will hopefully bring about transparency and reform.